Welcome, everybody, back to the Faint Signal Camp. We appreciate you checking in on us. And look, we finally got somebody else here other than Henry. I know you're still stuck with me, but please stick with me just for a second, because he's going to do most of the talking tonight. Get out of the way. For the love of everything that's holy, Henry. So, Jim Questa, here from DV8 and Mara background, and who else would you like to...
Gee, let's see. Mara, Bad Habit, Danny
Oh,
Morgan.
yeah, Bad Habit. That's right. Danny Morgan.
Yeah, and a host of other fill-ins from here and there, and hopefully part of this project is...
No, not hopefully. We're going to do something, and I tell you,
crafted, I believe. That's all right. I'm okay with that.
And we are so excited about this. Jim and I have been trying to do a project together for years, and I mean years. We've known each other at least 25, somewhere around there. And of course, we are not that old, exactly, but we are the Goatee Brothers.
Yes.
Thank you. So let's start things off. Jim has done a project with DV8 that is near and dear to his heart, as well as near and dear to the Cincinnati community. Play It On.
It's the Play On project.
Play On project. Team Chuck. You want to talk a little bit about that real quick?
Yeah, very, very briefly. The bass player for DV8's name's Chuck Reed. Chuck and Melissa. Melissa's the singer. And the husband and wife, they put this band together and have amassed some tremendous musicians, and it has become the band itself has become something rather special. And Chuck was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer some months ago, and has been ongoing treatment. And as part of that, they wanted to do something positive out of a negative, and they decided to put this campaign together along with some friends that they've met in the Suits That Rock group that plays every year. Kevin Canifax, I believe, and his wife were actually the spearheaders of this idea of Stay Strong, One Song, Play On, which is the moniker of this outreach effort. And the idea was for groups of bands or individuals to challenge other individuals or bands to either sing, say, or play on as part of a social media campaign. And an additional part of that, there was a kickoff campaign where Shut Up and Drive, Prisoner, the Rusty Griswolds, and DV8 all played a show at the Sharonville Convention Center. Mm-hmm. And last I had heard, we raised $18,000 for this beginning of this effort, which was really cool. And
that is awesome. And yeah, all those bands you mentioned, if you haven't seen DV8 especially, you need to get out and see these guys. They are very special. They've actually, between you guys and the Rusty Griswolds, they've certainly changed my outlook at cover music here in Cincinnati. That these guys just aren't playing cover songs. They are, they're really presenting it in a way that it should be presented, and they're doing wonderful. Every night it's packed. You know, every night that you guys play, every night that the Rusty Griswolds play, it's packed. And there's a reason why, because these guys are not only just great musicians, but they're presenting the songs as the way that they should be, with heart and soul, and they're great musicians. A good time. $18,000 is incredible for one night's work.
Yeah, and it just from the local community, the outpouring of giving that was all part of this, and the people that showed up at this thing. I believe there were, I can't remember how many people were at this thing, but I mean it was well over 1,000 people that were at this event. That we just kind of threw it out there and say, hey, we're doing this, and Melissa was on TV and radio all over the stations around town for about a week or two prior to the event, and people showed up in droves, which for a band member to or a band to have that kind of that outpouring of support it's more than just, hey, I'm glad you came to see us. It's more of there's a deeper connection that I think every band tries to acquire somehow, and I think it was even better that we've acquired that by we play songs that are near and dear to our heart, and we try to do things that other bands aren't doing, or other bands can't do because they either don't have the instrumentation or the group of people that can throw some of this stuff together. And having Melissa as a singer, for starters, is she's, and I say this, and she will kick me down the road every time I do say it, but she's absolutely the best vocalist of any kind that I've worked with.
Well,
and such a natural talent.
And what's on top of that, though, your male singer isn't. He's no schlack.
Dell is no, and that's
and the combination of the two, I'm telling you, is just it's wonderful.
Well, and that is true. Dell McFarland is our male singer, and when we do some duets between the two of them, and we do "Missing You" by John Wade, or they do a song by Evanescence. And I'm going to forget the name of the song because it just kind of goes in my mind. But the two of them together, the chemistry that they show together is fantastic.
It is.
And
it is.
The one thing I go back to, and with Melissa in particular, is when we went into the studio to record a few cover tunes just because we wanted to have something on tape. And she's there with an SM57 in the control room singing so that we can, get our basic tracks done. And we kept the vocals because they're just spectacular.
Yeah.
You don't do that, but she does.
Yeah.
And she brings that every night that we perform. It's the natural talent, and she's just a fantastic girl from around here, which makes it even better.
Yes, absolutely. Well, speaking of from around here, you've played in other cities before with other musicians, obviously. You played down in Florida for how long? You played there for a year, 2 years?
It was, I was with a gentleman named Danny Morgan, who's a singer-songwriter from Cincinnati, or greater Cincinnati area, who made his...
okay, so it starts in Cincinnati again, yes. which is what I'm going to get back to, but...
Right. I mean, he was part of the Apple Butter Band, which was Mike Reed from the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, yeah, that's right,
that's right. Award-winning player and songwriter. Was part of his band back in the day. They're still good friends, which is cool. But it was summers in Cincinnati and fall, winter, and spring, and around Florida, mostly the Gulf Coast. And when I did do that back in 1990, 91, we were on the road for about 8 months doing that whole thing, mostly, like I said, in Sanibel, Captiva, Fort Myers Beach, but we did a stint in Naples, a couple of weekends in Key West, a month in Sanford, Florida, which I assume forget. But all of that is just, it's so different. Mm-hmm. And I can maybe relate a very quick story about when we were in Sanford, Florida. We got set up, and there was just three of us, a drummer, and I played keys and key bass, and Danny played guitar, and we all sang. And we got set up, and we in this nice little bar kind of little thing. And we got there that first night, and there was half a dozen or a dozen people there, and we'd play one song and come to an end, and it was like crickets were singing. And Danny turned to me and said, "Well, let's do something a little more upbeat." So we did something a little more upbeat and came with an ending and nothing. I said, "Oh, that's really shocking." And we did an R&B song, and it went huge ending, crickets. And this guy in the back said, "Play some damn Garth Brooks." And it was just, every once in a while you hear somebody play Freebird.
Well, we've all heard that.
Yeah, and that's to be expected. But people. The cool thing is, at least for us, and it was when I was with Bad Habit too, it may sound pretentious, but we played things that we felt were true to ourselves. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't something, we're going to play this to get the girls on the dance floor, and the guys will follow the girls will come see us, and we'll always have a big following. And we never subscribed to that. Not that we didn't care about the people. It was, we thought that we were going to give somebody something a little different and be true to ourselves. And if we're not true to ourselves, how can we be true to an audience?
Right.
But that met with the people that did come see us and connected with has become something very special. And the same is true with DV8 now, with everything that we've done. The people that see us, there's a couple that, Jason and Jeanette, I believe is her last name. Her first name, I'm going to root.
We're going to edit it out anyway. We can't do that.
Oh, you can't?
No.
Oh. Sorry, but I mean, they come see us all the time, and they said, you guys really make it special. I says, no, you don't understand. You guys make it special for us to be up here playing. It's a mutual admiration society, and it just works. And I think it works better than, let's see if I can play Wagon Wheel today, because everybody and their brother's gonna like it.
Mm-hmm. Well, my point to get to is the fact that, have you ever experienced or felt the community? Let's put it as a community, not only with the fans here in town, but with the musicians here in town. Where have you ever? I've only been in Cincinnati, so I don't know anything else. But we have such a community of musicians here where we're not in competition with each other.
Right.
We are together with what we're all trying to do within this community, and we're all supporting each other. I can't, like you said, with this play on, you had 5 of the top bands here in town, and everybody for one point to bring awareness of pancreatic cancer, correct?
Right, that's correct. I mean, what it really comes down to, I mean, from what I've experienced and what I've actually heard from other people who are outside, Cincinnati, it may not be looked at least today, as a music hotbed necessarily. Although I think it should be, because there's some really cool things that are happening out of here.
We've certainly got our fair share of bands that have popped out of Cincinnati recently that are getting, Rolling Stone. You've got Walk the Moon, Wussy for one,
right?
With the Rolling Stones' Best Kept Secrets. Walk the Moon, who is now, they're exploding. They're warming up for the Rolling Stones for 5 shows.
Excellent.
And they got one of their latest songs being played on Ellen now. But
But I think what it is that when in this town in particular, I mean, we all see a goal or the end result, and I think everybody is saying, it's like a community of ants. Everybody helps themselves up, and everybody gets the reward at the end if you do that. When I was in Florida, and granted it was quite a few years ago, but I mean, everybody was playing for their dinner, and it was cutthroat.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that that's not the way it is here.
Yeah.
When we're off, we're out seeing other bands and things like that, and to try to support them as they support us, and that's really cool.
And with that being said, that is one reason why I got out of playing covers, other than the fact that I sucked at it. No, when that started happening, it was time for me for me personally, make a move, and I just didn't have the mindset to put up with that, and I'm glad to see that that's changed here in town now. But with that being said, you wrote a song for that.
I did. And it was when we were first told about this process. I started thinking about, well, what is it like? And I've had a lot of personal experience with people who have gone through traumatic, cancer issues. My wife's family being one of them. I mean, my wife lost her mother to small cell lung cancer, and her mother's sisters both died of the form of the breast cancer gene. One was pancreatic cancer, and the other was ovarian cancer. So my wife's family lost an entire generation of women due to this disease, and so I understand, at least from a very personal level, some of the strife and things and the questions that you go to. And when I wrote this song called Play On, and it just seemed it's what it meant. You can choose to check out and let the disease consume you, or you can decide to fight and play on, and which is exactly what Chuck's doing, and doing a tremendous job. He's an absolute inspiration, not only to people that are playing with him, but people who are also fighting the battle. And to watch him get up on stage and says, well, I may only be able to do half the set list tonight, and we'll have somebody else cover the rest, but I'm going to do what I can. I am going to play on. And it was just, when I put the song together and the lyrics together, that was what it meant to me.
For Henry and I talk about this on personal basis quite a bit, but for us as not only musicians but as human beings, we want to touch lives.
Right.
Bottom line, I want to walk away from an encounter, and hopefully that person I've met has walked away glad that they met me.
Sure.
Chuck goes beyond that with what he's done. You talk about inspiration. When you think your life is sucking for whatever reason, you look at Chuck and you see what he's done to continue on, and it has amazed me. You did everything on this album or on this song except for the guitar. Who played
That's
guitar?
right, Michael Oakley, who is a good personal friend of mine and a fantastic musician in his own right. He's played with Hollywood, which is a cover band in Cincinnati and still does for many years. He's now working with a band called War of Change, which is an original project, kind of a Christian metal thing, which is kind of cool. But they're starting to get some airplay. There's another band that's starting to climb its way, up through the ranks and maybe out of town here before too long. So, which is cool. But yeah, he came over and threw some guitar tracks down. But the song was kind of a two-tiered thing for me personally. I had a writing stint many years ago that I was having some particular issues with personally, and I couldn't get my arms around the fact that I wasn't able to complete a project or a song, and it was very important and very therapeutic for me to write this and to put it together so that I could say, this is something that I'm proud of. This is something that I can let somebody like you listen to and feel good about it, and not feel and I'm not the greatest vocalist in the world, and I certainly do my best with the singing portion of it, but from a lyric standpoint, I was happy with the content, and I was happy with the way the song kind of came together.
Well, you want to talk about your vocals? Let's talk. Neil Young's not the greatest vocalist. Dylan's not the greatest vocalist, but it is what I heard was the emotion behind the words that you wrote and how you portrayed that vocally, that that these lyrics meant something to you. And I heard the song fully for the first time tonight, and it's one of those songs where you can sit back in headphones and it'll envelop you to the point of you. It's emotional. You can hear the emotion behind the song written. And with that being said, I want to present that song now. And what we're going to do, what I was hoping to do is make, we're going to do 2 short videos here. So we'll end this portion of it, do the song, and then we'll come back with another video for what you're doing with us and where you
guys see my beer anywhere?
Oh, for the love of... So
Glasses.
Let's go to that song real quick, shall we? Beautiful.
The kind of news that chills your core, puts out the fuse, and sends you into a dizzy, endless spin. Things of importance yesterday are now a distant memory, and you start to view just how things might have been. It could be so easy to worry, stop and sink, but one thing can pull you up, back from the brink. Play on, you never know when time is gone. Every moment precious, no time to waste, this is our time and place. Play on, we may not see another dawn. Every moment precious, no time to waste, this is our time and place. Play on. brought to your knees. But giving up is a senseless way to fall. You greet each day as a gift it is. The unknown becomes a worthless quiz, and you find a way to climb over the wall. We shouldn't waste a moment to stop or wonder why. We don't want to miss a chance to put on our wings and fly. Play on, play on. You never know when time is gone. Every moment precious, no time to waste. This is our time and place. Play on, play on. We may not see another dawn. Every moment precious, no time to waste. This is our time and place. So play on. Another dawn. Every moment precious, no time to waste. This is our time and place. So play on, yeah, play on. The echo's all that's left when we're gone. Sees you stay completely and laugh and